Last week, the NBA released the first All-Star edition of the fan voting, and like always, there were some interesting names to see there in the top 10, most notably for the Western Conference guards, because you saw cameos from Klay Thompson and Austin Reeves. But in today's video, we are going to be going through 65 players and put them into a tier list on who I think will be in the All-Star game. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? The fan voting makes up 50%, players and coaches make up the other 50%, and for the tier list, there's basically 2 guards and 3 forwards in the starting lineup, 2 guaranteed guards and 3 guaranteed forwards in the reserves, and then there's 2 wild cards. It could be either a guard or a forward for those final 2 spots. And yeah, we're going to do the challenge today of putting all these guys into a tier list. Before we get into it, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Before we get back into the video, I want to give a word from today's sponsor, the Ewin Racing Chair. So Ewin sent me this chair a couple weeks ago, and I've just absolutely loved it so far. It's so much different than my previous chair in just so many different ways. The Ewin Racing Chair has a magnetic slow rebound memory foam head pillow. It has a 4D integrated lumbar support system, a magnetic full metal 4D padded armrest, revolutionary temperature and pressure sensitive cold cure foam core. It can hold up to 400 pounds while other chairs can bear at 300 pounds at most. And it's just also done wonders on my back so far. I had like back issues with my previous chair that also had to kind of go in effect with no headrest as well. But just having the foam pad in the back of it to support my back and right up here at the headrest as well, it's just been a night and day difference since I had my old chair. Because I'm editing videos, I'm making videos, I'm recording videos. I could be in this chair up to 6 hours at a given point. So that's why it's just coming in clutch for me that it's just way better on my health. Ewin's also giving you guys a 25% discount on one of their chairs if you use code SROS, S-R-O-S. You can see the code on your screen now. There'll be a link in the description and the pinned comment below. That's code SROS at checkout for a 25% discount on an Ewin racing chair. And thank you again to Ewin for sponsoring today's video. So yeah, this is going to be tough. We have basically each starter category from each conference, which is going to be 5 starters in each. We'll have 7 reserves. We'll have the fringe players that I think could be reserves, may not be, and they're going to be kind of deemed as snubs, and then players that just have no chance of making the All-Star game. So we'll start just kind of going in order here. We have Alperu and Şengün, who I think is going to be a really tough player to rank here because he's doing okay in the fan voting. Could be better, could be worse. He's on his way to being a West reserve, and I'm going to throw him there for now. I don't know if he'd be a wild card or a West reserve forward, but for now, I'll throw him in the reserves. There's a 0% chance he goes up to the starter, but there's a chance he drops to the snub. Anthony Simons, he's really good, man. He's having a very solid season for a not very good Portland Trailblazers team. I think I would be fine with him making the All-Star game, but I do think he's going to be a snub, but I do think he has probably the best chance out of any Trailblazer. Anthony Davis is a clear... Oh, wow, wait, this is going to be tough. Do I think he's going to be a starter or a reserve? And to be honest with you, he's probably going to end up as a reserve because in my mind, I already have the 3 forwards that I think will be starters in the Western Conference, and we'll obviously get to those. Anthony Edwards will make the All-Star game, but he will not start. He's a reserve for me. It's wild. Players that are averaging 27, 5, and 5, and one of the best teams in the league is going to end up as a reserve, but he's listed as a guard. He's only played 23% of his minutes this year at the small forward position. Maybe the NBA wants to list him as a forward, but it's not going to happen. He would get that last spot, though. Bam Adebayo, oh, man. So he's going to be somebody I'll just throw into the East reserves right now. The Heat will definitely get 1 All-Star. The question is, will they get 2? They won't have a starter, in my opinion. But yeah, Bam, we'll throw in the reserves for now. Bradley Beal, just with the injuries coming back, he has obviously the popularity to be in the conversation, but I don't think he's even going to be considered a snub when he doesn't make it. So Brandon Ingram was not listed in the top 10 in the fan voting when it came to front court players for the Western Conference, and he's on a good Pelicans team, and I think the Pelicans are deserving of at least 1 All-Star, and he might be more popular than Zion is at this point, and I think they'll get 1. We'll see if it's Ingram, but who knows? I feel like I got to put 1 Pelican in. We'll see. Chet Holmgren, oh man, I don't think Chet's going to get in, even though he's been incredible in his rookie season. I think he will end up as a snub in the Western Conference. All right, Chris Paul, no chance he's an All-Star this year. He also just got hurt as well. Damian Lillard, I already know, obviously, one Eastern Conference starter. I'm debating on who I'm going to put as the other Eastern Conference starter, but we'll throw him in the East starter for now, but he could drop off to the East Reserve, but he's definitely an all-star this year. Garland is having a fine season, somewhat of a letdown year, and he also has that jaw injury as well. He's going to miss a decent amount of time. I don't think there's any chance that he is an all-star this year. De'Aaron Fox, the dude is a beast. The dude is averaging 30 points per game, and I don't even think he's going to be a West starter, but he's guaranteed to be one of those guards off the bench, taking up one of those 2 spots. So basically, I already have 2 out of the 3 spots there for guards on the bench. Oh, this is going to be so tough trying to figure out the West reserves. DeJounte Murray, good player. I don't even think he'll be a snub. There's just too many good Eastern Conference guards this year where I don't think he gets in. DeMar DeRozan is having a good season. I don't think he's a lock to be a reserve. I don't even know if I want to put him as a snub, but I don't want to give him no chance at making it, so I'll throw him in the East snubs for now. Derek White, I know this is a big topic right now. JJ Redick is like the #1 advocate for him to be an all-star this year, but the thing I want to go back at him is if he's an all-star, you got to remove some people that should be all-stars out of the game. White is having an all-star caliber year, but in my opinion, if there's no injuries that happen, he will be a snub. He's not going to take up one of those 2 guard starter spots, 2 guard reserve spots, or the wild card spots. Maybe I change my mind by the end of this video when we get to everybody else's resume, but for now, yeah, I think White is going to be an East snub. Desmond Bane is most likely going to be a West snub as well. Was good for them, was their best player in the absence of Ja Morant, but I don't think that the Grizzlies will get an all-star unless Ja Morant gets in. All right, Devin Booker, West Reserve. Oh man, this is going to be so tough because Devin Booker is a guard this year. And that means for my reserves, I already have my 2 guards in Fox and Edwards. And then I already have Devin Booker and I know who's going to be the final reserve. Oh my God. Or the final wild card spot because I needed to put another guard in there that aren't the 2 starters. This is going to get insanely difficult. I'm really scared by the end of this. Domantas Sabonis will not be a West starter. Do I think he's going to be a West reserve? Oh, man, maybe the Pelicans aren't going to get one. Maybe Şengün won't even get in. So I already have my 3 forwards in Şengün, AD. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So I have to bump down AD, Sabonis, or Şengün. So you know what? Let's just get the Western Conference out of the way, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Oh my God, this is going to be so tough. All right, so my 2 starters in the Western Conference, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's a no-brainer. He's an MVP candidate right now. He's leading the Thunder to one of the best records in the league. He's averaging over 30 points. He could score on anyone. We praised the Celtics defense so much, and he schooled Derek White and Jrue Holiday throughout that whole game. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is 100% an all-star starter in the West. And then the other spot, in my opinion, should go to Luka Doncic. I don't know if he has the MVP case as Shai does right now, but I think he is right there, and I think he should be a starter in the West. And that leads me to my final spot. My final guard is Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry is still having an incredible year, even though the Warriors' record isn't great. He's averaging 27 points. He's one of the more popular players in the league. He's #2 in voting with 1.3 million votes, so he may even be a starter over Luka. So I think Steph is a guarantee. I think Fox is a guarantee. I think one Timberwolf has to get in, and I think Booker, he has missed some time, but he's going to play close to 40 games by the All-Star break because he is back. But the thing is, he's not in the top 10 in voting for guards, but Ja Morant is. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on, that people are not even voting for Devin Booker, which I'm kind of shocked with. I thought he was very popular. So maybe Booker is the odd man out here if I wanted to add, or if I had to add another forward. Oh man, the Western Conference is going to be very difficult. So we can kind of go through the Western Conference guys that I think are going to be snubs or not make it. I think Larry Markin will most likely be a snub because these are, I got to cut somebody from this list basically. Like Wembanyama, I think Wemby's going to be a snub. Even though if you look at his like per 36 minutes, should be an all-star, but the Spurs are so bad. He is popular because he's currently 8th in the voting right now for Western Conference frontcourt players. And he's ahead of Chet Holmgren and Karl-Anthony Towns as well. But I don't think he will be an all-star, but I think he definitely deserves to be in the conversation for at least what he's doing on the defensive side of the floor. So kind of looking at this, like Michael Porter Jr., no chance he makes it. I don't think Jamal Murray has a chance either. Klay Thompson, no chance. Draymond Green, also no chance either. Jeremy Grant, I'm sorry, man. I think Zion could be considered a snub. We'll throw him in there because I think he should have like, oh no, why did I throw these guys in the East tier snub? So yeah, we have a ton of West snubs at the moment, and that list could get even longer because I don't think Kyrie Irving will get in. He was injured, and the Western Conference guards are so competitive and it's so deep. I don't think he has a better chance of making it over Booker, Ant, Curry, Fox, Shea, or Luka. Oh my God, yeah, I don't think Brandon Ingram is going to make it because I have to get a Clipper in there. So I do think we'll just kind of finish out the starters in the West too. Like Nikola Jokic obviously is a lock. I think Kevin Durant and LeBron James, due to their popularity, like LeBron's #1 in front court voting, KD's #2 in the West, and they're both having all-star caliber seasons. Obviously their team records haven't been great so far, but yeah, it's the all-star game. It's not really an all-NBA ballot. So I think these will be the West starters. If you want to sub out Luka and put in Fox or Curry, that's fine, but I think like those guys are the definite starters in the West. So yeah, that means I gotta put like Kawhi in. Does Paul George probably get snubbed? Harden is going to get snubbed. Actually, I don't think there's any chance Harden makes it in, I think due to resumes. So I think only one Clipper gets in. So I think Paul George is going to get snubbed. So I'm sorry, Anthony Simons, you probably have no chance. I also forgot to put Ja Morant in here, so we have 66 players. I don't think Ja has a chance. He has been getting some votes as he's 7th in the fan voting right now, but I don't think the players or coaches will get him in. So I don't think Ja has a chance. We could throw him as a snubbing, but he did miss 25 games. So if I was going to throw him there, I don't know if Desmond Bane has a chance. He's not a popular player. Like, Cat is going to be a snub. Rudy Gobert. Don't worry. I'm going to throw guys into no chance tier now. We can't have this many subs. And then, yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. has no chance as well. So, yeah, that is the Western Conference. We'll get into the reserves later on and who we're going to cut from here and who we're going to drop from the snubs. For the Eastern Conference, let's figure out the locks for the starters. Giannis is a lock. I think Jason Tatum will be a lock. Joel Embiid will also be a lock. Very popular, just like Giannis. He's going to be up there. Tyrese Halliburton is going to be a lock for a starter. He's the leading vote getter in guards right now with 1.3 million votes. I mean, you have Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum up there in the top 3 as well. And the game's also played in Indiana. So I'm sure the NBA and the Pacers and fans like that are there, want to see Halliburton start the game in his home team city. So yeah, I think he's a lock for a starter. And then yeah, I think Tatum is going to get that last forward spot because Embiid and Giannis are definitely locks. The thing is, do I think Damian Lillard gets that last spot, or do I think it goes to Jalen Brunson? Because Jalen Brunson has been incredible, and would they want to get another Nick in there? The only thing with Brunson is he's not as popular as Damian Lillard is. Like, Damian Lillard has almost 1 million votes. He's #2 in the Western Conference. Jalen Brunson is #6 with like almost a third of the votes. So it's not great. Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, and Trae Young all have more votes. And this is what I'm predicting will happen. I would give it to Brunson, but I'm also biased at the end of the day. I'm a Knicks fan, but I think it would be cool to see him as an all-star starter. But I will give it to Damian Lillard. I'd love to know who you have in the comments below. Like, I think Shea and Halliburton are both locks. Who are your other Western Conference guard and Eastern Conference guard in the starting lineup? Do you have it as Luka and Dame, Luka and Brunson? Maybe you have it as Damon Fox. Let me know in the comments. So like I said, I'm going to give it to Damian Lillard. So that means we're going to have Jalen Brunson as like that first guard off the bench. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be an all-star as well. We'll kind of go through these. Fred VanVleet also, I don't think has a chance here. Evan Mobley, no chance. He's going to miss some time, and he's not going to get out there in the front court. Oh man, this is going to be really tough. So I think LaMelo Ball has no chance just due to his injuries. I don't think he gets in. Mikal Bridges has been playing better as of late, but he went through a rough stretch. He is 7th in front court voting right now for the Eastern Conference. Oh man, so yeah, I don't think he's gonna get in. I don't think Franz is gonna get in, but I think he will be a snub because I do think Paolo Banchero deserves one of those front court spots for the Eastern Conference. The Magic have been good this year, and he's also been incredible, and he's somewhat popular as well. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. So I feel like 2 Celtics are gonna get in. I don't think Hero is gonna get in because if it's going to be 2 Heat, it's going to be Jimmy and Bam. Terry Rozier, you're not popular enough. I am sorry. Zach LaVine, injuries. Yeah, you're not getting in. Jared Allen, I don't think you have a chance as well. Chris Middleton, no chance. Kristaps, do I want to put him as a snub? Maybe I'll give Kristaps a respect. Maybe we'll drop him. We'll see. So basically, Drew Holiday, I don't think he has a chance at getting in either because I think it goes down to like KP and White before Holiday's chance. So these guys here, oh man, this is tough. So basically we have 2 guards and 2 forwards in the Eastern Conference. I can add 1 more forward and 2 more wild cards. Trae Young is averaging 27 and 11. The efficiency was never great at times. He's improved somewhat on the defensive side of the floor. The Hawks aren't good, but I don't think it's because of Trae Young. So I think Trae Young is getting one of the wild card spots. Who do I think gets like the last forward spot? I think Brown might have some flexibility, could get in as a guard or forward. Do I think it's Jimmy? Do I think it's Randall? Or do I think it's Siakam? All right, so kind of figuring out like who's the all-star between one of these forwards. Barnes could even get in as a guard because he's played some shooting guard this year, but kind of with the OG trade, he hasn't as of much. So like Randall's definitely the higher scorer, obviously the highest like rebounder there, but not the most efficient player here. Jimmy is the most popular guy out of these 4, and if we kind of go here, he is #4 when it comes to front court popularity in the Eastern Conference, like more than Bam. But Bam's defense, I'm like, he's got to get in. This is going to be so tough on like 2, maybe even 3 of these 4 get snubbed. But you know what? I don't even know. This is going to be tough. And like Maxey and Jaylen Brown gets in. Oh my God, the East may be even tougher. So I got to give one more front court. Man, do I think Maxey or do I think Brown gets in? I feel like Jaylen Brown's going to be the second Boston All-Star. Boston only ended up with 1. But I feel like Maxey cannot make it. He's been so good this year for Philadelphia. Like, I don't know how that's not an all-star season. You could say it's a better year than Jaylen Brown as well. So you know what? I think maybe Brown's going to be a snub. Do I think 3 Celtics end up getting snubbed? I don't know, but this is going to be tough. So Paolo gets in, Trey gets in, Maxey gets in. So that's basically both my wild cards are Trey and Maxey. I got to choose one of Randall, Jimmy, Siakam, or Barnes, or I give it to Jimmy instead of Bam. So I'm going to throw Randall in the Eastern Conference snubs. I already got that one Nick in there and Jalen Brunson. I do think Bam deserves it over Jimmy. I know Jimmy's popular, but let's see kind of what the fans, or excuse me, the coaches or players decide on. So I'm going to say Jimmy gets snubbed. And then I'm going to give it to Scotty Barnes over Pascal Siakam this year. And I'm going to give Barnes that final forward spot because I think he is deserving of an all-star this year. And that means Siakam gets snubbed. So we're not even done yet. I got to figure out the Western Conference. So I don't think Domantas Sabonis will get in. I don't think it's going to be 2 Kings. I do think Kawhi will get one of those spots. And then I do have to remove another forward. Or do I think like the Suns get 2 All-Stars and Devin Booker gets in? Or do I think Brandon Ingram gets in? And ultimately, I think Booker will end up getting in over Brandon Ingram. So I think Ingram may be like the biggest snub here. I don't know who I want to give no chance to. Like if it's between Bane or Morant, I don't think really Bane has a chance. I don't think Rudy has a chance. I mean, all these guys could kind of make it in some type of way. Not everybody, but it's going to be really close. There's going to be a lot of snubs this year. So this is what I'm going with. I'm ending it here. My Eastern Conference starters, you have the locks basically in Embiid, Tatum, Giannis, and Halliburton. I gave it to Lillard over Brunson for that final spot. West, you got Shea, Luka, Jokic, KD, and LeBron. The reserves in the East for the guards, I gave it to Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. For the forwards, I gave it to Bam over Jimmy. Let me know what you think in the comments. I gave Paolo there. I feel like a Magic should get in. And I gave it to Scotty Barnes. And then for the wild cards, I gave it to Trey and Maxey. And then for the West reserves, guard, you have Fox and Curry. Forward, you have AD, Şengün, and Kawhi. And then for the wild cards, I gave it to Devin Booker and Anthony Edwards. I think if I had to choose like 3 biggest snubs here, I think it's probably Julius Randle. I think it's one of the Celtics, whoever you want to give it to. And then it's probably going to be Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy does have the popularity, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up making it. And then for the Western Conference snubs, to be honest, I don't think Chet Holmgren will get in. I don't think Lowry will get in. Sabonis, no. I think it may just be one Timberwolf, which is kind of crazy. I don't think Ja probably ends up getting in. So I think it's going to be the Pelican, which I think Ingram has a better chance over Zion. I do think maybe Wemby is a snub, and then maybe it's like Karl-Anthony Towns just maybe as that second Timberwolf. There's just been so many good players this year. So I'd love to know what you guys have in the comments below. This was very tough to do. Hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if you did. Love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.